back to square one. This is the Oz report for November 1st, 2025. All right. And let's start with Plex and Plex adjacent items, as is the custom. Plex still trading 10% below 52-week average. If we go into the game client, we can see that since the global market was introduced, we've pretty much seen a sliding scale on the Plex price. The current price is 5.4 million. So overall, historically speaking, over the last few years, quite cheap. And a lot of that has to do with additional availability through the global market. Where it gets interesting this week is Hypercores for one. So if we're looking at the Hypercore price, which you guys know, I don't like the Hypernet, but I've invested a lot in the Hypercores because there was a 2-for-1 sale last year. And ever since then, a lot of us have been sitting on these Hypercores. And now, finally, we're seeing a lot of movement in the market. So for an item that was, running at around 300,000 for most of the year, we're now looking at prices that are approaching 400,000. We're finally probably in territories where a lot of you are hopefully making a lot of money if you're in the same situation as I and you took advantage of the 2-for-1 sale last year. So very happy to see that. That's not the only thing that is moving a lot this week, because we have Master at Arms Cerebral Accelerators. These are the cerebral accelerators that increase your attributes to increase your skill point generation. And these are earned through recruiting new players. And these are very, very important in the EVE Online economy because they are a good way of efficiently gaining SP. I always have a handy spreadsheet ready, as always, to compare how these are doing against others. So if we look at my spreadsheet, right, and we look at the Master at Arms Cerebral Accelerator here, we can see that the efficiency right now in ISK per SP is 1,500 for these Master at Arms Cerebral Accelerators. That is super cheap. That is so cheap that it's now the most efficient way to earn SP in the game. It has passed the Boost Cerebral Accelerators from the New Eden store that are bought with Plex and that have a fairly standard price that is pegged to the Plex price. And even at the current super cheap Plex price, the Master at Arms Cerebral Accelerator at the current sell price are better. So what does that mean for you? First of all, why is that the case? This is typically the case because some very large streamers or community representatives are dumping large amounts of these into the market. So if you're someone like me that recruits a lot of players, or EVE rookies or other large streamers, they will have a lot of these, and sometimes they just accumulate them and sell them all at the same time. And if you look at the volume here, it looks like right here, this is what somebody was doing. They were selling it to buy orders of 50 million, which is an incredibly stupid thing to do. But if you don't care, and if you don't care about the value of these, then this is just what non-traders do. And so now that somebody has dumped all of these in the market, what does it mean for you? Well, you can, even at the current sell price, 64 million is super cheap. So just buy these. Okay, this is super cheap. You're going to be able to sell these for more later, hands down. Absolutely. The only reason I'm not buying these is because I already have a lot of money, and I also have a lot of Master at Arms Cerebral Accelerators. Secondly, put a buy order out there. The buy orders are 60 million. Guys, go and get in on this. Like, this is ridiculous. Okay, this is right now the best way to earn SP, and this is not even some insider secret. This is just facts. Okay, it's just like somebody dumped a lot of these. These are way undervalued right now, and go buy them. All right. Skill extractors to complete the Plex adjacent items are, after they've been rising for a lot of times, now the short-term trend has crossed the long-term trend, which is not great. It's dropping in price again. A part of that is because we, as we talked about earlier, we have a some new packs out there, the Nosferatu packs and other packs, and one of them, the middle pack, has 10 skill extractors, and the pack is pretty good value. So you do have a lot of skill extractors right now hitting the market, and that is why the price is temporarily going down. I don't think this in the end. I think the trend is going to continue, that these are going to rise in price and approach 500 million again shortly. So I think this is a short-term thing. So feel free to take advantage of this and maybe put some buy orders for skill extractors out there. I skipped the skill injectors, so let me just, for completion's sake, do this right now. They have gone the other way. So right now, it looks like people are either maybe buying skill injectors for the expansion that is coming, the Catalyst expansion that is coming in 2 weeks. That's going to have some, some new command skills, some new ships, etc., etc. So that might be one thing. Secondly, we do have a war going on and some players returning, so possibly people are reskilling. And then, also right now, cheap extractors and cheap plex are probably pumping out more skill injectors overall. So do I think this is going to hold? Probably not. Probably looking at the trend of the last 6 or 7 months, this is there's no big reason why this should be increasing in the long run. So I don't think this is a long-term trend. I think this is more like a short-term rise, and then it's probably going to be staying this way until we see something else majorly change in that whole skill point formula between plex extractors and injectors. All right. That was a long section on plex and plex adjacent item. Let's take a little bit of time to talk about minerals as well, because earlier on the stream we were talking about minerals, and look, minerals are down another 7% this week. They were already down about 20% below 52-week average. If you're looking at the MER, we are seeing the mineral price index drop by a lot. So if we're looking at the current price level for basic minerals, we're talking 21% below 52-week average. And case in point, if you're looking at a lot of these, almost all minerals are trading at 52-week lows. All right, Isogen, 52-week low, Megasite, 52-week low, Mexilon, 52-week low, Morphite, 52-week low, Noxium, very close to it. Pyrite is the only one that's bucking the trend. Pyrite is still very, very expensive. Tritanium is recovering from a 52-week low. And then we have Zydrine, which is newly, since yesterday, now trading very low. And, one is, yes, we had the big patch in March that started a lot of this trend. Now we also have a mining expansion hitting in 2 to 3 weeks. That is on November 18th. That is introducing new mining sites and ships, but also it's introducing a new way of alchemy, of taking this new type of ore, the prismaticite, and turning it, albeit inefficiently, but turning it into other minerals. So overall, certainly this is not going to make mineral prices rise. If you're looking at this from a market perspective, you're looking at a mining focused expansion. You're looking at more ways of obtaining minerals. So it's very logical for some of these minerals to be dropping in price, especially since they were already trending downwards for most of the year. So overall, minerals coming down, and it doesn't seem to be stopping. And a lot of people are looking to see what's coming up with the new Catalyst expansion on November 18th. So that is that. Let me just mention a few items, right? One is the Sisters of Eve Net Resonator. So this is the item that you buy with LP to then build Sisters of Eve ships with, like the Astero or the new Odysseus that is coming. Odysseus, is that the name of it? Odysseus, right? Yeah, the Odysseus. The Odysseus is going to be using Sisters of Eve net resonators according to HoboLeaks, right? HoboLeaks is a site that looks at the test server and tries to predict what's coming from the expansion. So data mining would predict that the Odysseus, which makes sense, it's a Sisters of Eve ship, is going to be using Sisters of Eve net resonators. And that's why, since the announcement, you've seen these go crazy. So this, overall, this is going to mean a positive price pressure on Sisters of Eve LP. So if you have it, use it. If you can get it, go get it. If you're looking for something to do, certainly gathering Sisters of Eve LP via the Epic Arc, for example, or other activities is one good thing that certainly can make a lot of sense right now. That's Sisters of Eve Net Resonator. Lastly, I want to talk about a few things that are trending up. I want to specifically talk about the ship of the week, or the ship of the month, which definitely is the Jackdaw, right? The Jackdaw has been traded a lot. I mean, for one, there was a patch, the last balance patch allowed T3Ds, so tactical destroyers in ESSs, right? That was a big change. And then also now you're seeing a lot of alliances fly this as doctrine ships. If you're looking at Zkill board, it's all over the place. So the Jackdaw, very much a hot commodity right now. And the other thing that is trending up today and is being traded a lot today is the dual gigapulse laser, which is a dreadnought gun, which is a very good sign for the game overall, because it means that somebody is out there actually wanting to fly capital ships and taking dreads into battle. All right. Let's quickly look at what's in short supply. All right. Short supply, the Astero is in short supply. That's another Sisters of Eve ship, but also an exploration ship. So this was very popular in the recent event, in the Crimson event, the Halloween event that was going on, the Crimson Harvest. And so you can see that the price jump here, double whammy here, price jump, because Sisters of Eve, Sisters of Eve ship and net resonators, but then also very popular right now in the events. So Asteros going crazy. And then also the Vindicator seems to be quite popular right now. We've seen a rising price in Vindicators over the last week or two. And so that's another thing to consider. I think if I look at my dashboard here, I think that's all we want to mention. Raitaru's up 13%. Also interesting. Zydrine is a big loser this week. Zydrine on the mineral front, 14% down. Massive. But yeah, I think, Mackinaws, somebody's getting ready for the Catalyst expansion, because Mackinaws, 2/3 of all Mackinaws on the market have been bought out this week. 66% down. Very, very cool. And also light entropic disintegrators. These are the trick ship weapons, the tier 2 trick ship weapons, or tech 2 weapons, down 60% in supply. That's also massive. All right. Now, I think that's it. Again, please, if you haven't voted yet, vote for me on your CSM ballot. Massively appreciate it. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week for the next Oz Report.